Okay, so today's day in reckoning, day before I decide to strip Katie down and start rebuilding her for the next version of the story, hopefully 2017 across Asia, and maybe even into Alaska. Who knows what's going to happen. So probably a good time to introduce you to the bike, why I bought this bike in the first place, what we did to it before we took it on the trip, what worked on the trip and what didn't, things that went wrong and things that went really well. To give you some idea of what we did to the bike during the trip as well in terms of servicing, and basically looking after and making sure she was on the road. So in terms of the bike itself, those of you in the know will know this is a KTM 690 Enduro R. It's a 2015 specification, bought new from Drysdale back in June last year. Spent a couple of months building it. As you can see, it's been converted from the standard specification to Rally Raid specification. Give it a little bit longer legs, more capability for carrying luggage and so on. In terms of comparison as a bike, good bike to compare it with maybe the BMW F650 GS Sertao, which is built for a similar style of riding, similar style of capability. I'll give you some idea why I chose this above any other bike. This bike dry weight 143 kilograms, 67 brake horsepower, then there's a power output, and it's got 250mm suspension travel front and rear, which gives it a good mix of capability, both off-road work and a little bit of pavement work that we need to do as a necessity. In terms of the Sertao, weighs in at 176 kilograms, got 48 brake horsepower output from a 600cc engine, and about 210mm of suspension, so slightly less overall as a package to this bike. So one good reason to choose this above something like that, or something in comparison to that, is by far to me is lighter weight. You will drop these bikes if you take them off-road. In fact, you will possibly drop them on road as well, but you'll certainly drop the bike and you will have to pick it up. So weight is a huge factor that's involved. We'll come on to some of that in a moment. Suspension travel as well, if you're going to spend a lot of time off-road, as was my objective during the trip. You need a good amount of suspension travel, a good amount of ground clearance, and obviously power output. You know, we all like extra power, and this bike gives it also in terms of power to weight comparison. It really is up there with the best, if not the best. I chose this bike for a number of reasons. One was a technical capability, but more so I'm a dyed-in-the-wool KTM fan. I did try, in fact I owned a KTM 1190 Adventurer before this trip, and I did try that beforehand and did consider taking it, but frankly it's just too heavy and big for what I wanted out of a bike. My whole objective for the trip was to spend as much time off-road as possible, deserts, high mountain tracks, goat trails and everything else I could throw at the bike, and to spend as little time on pavement as I could, and achieve a pretty good mix of that. Probably 50-50 in terms of, probably even more than 50% actually off-road, certainly in Australia, as much as I possibly can, and we went through absolutely everything. Went up over 5,000 metres, crossed 4 deserts, spent a lot of time on rocky trails, a lot of time on gravel, dust, and as I said, sand, and we did spend some time on the pavement, which was less than comfortable. Again, we'll come on to that. So all the good reasons to choose a bike like this. And as you can see, apart from the technical capability off-road, we've adventurised it in terms of its luggage carrying capacity. I'll cover the luggage and camping gear and all the technical stuff I carried on the trip in later videos. This is primarily about the bike only, but luggage carrying capability front on the rear, and these racks, rear rack, and tank bags on the front. And I really carried as little as I possibly could. Soft luggage all round, again to protect against any damage if the bike was dropped, and when the bike was dropped, it was quite a few occasions. So really try to keep weight to a minimum. So that's bike comparison, what I needed to do and why I bought it in the first place. What did we do to the standard bike after we bought it? Well, quite a lot really, as you can see. It's mostly Rally Raid gear, amongst other things thrown at the bike. The main things I needed to prepare for this trip was needed a longer fuel range. Got quite a small standard tank, just over 12 litres standard tank, situated under just above the rear wheel, under the seat. So we definitely needed a longer fuel range. So added safari tanks on the front, which is another 10.5 litres, and another auxiliary tank on the rear, which gives us just over 4 litres as well. So total fuel capacity just over 27 litres, which in reasonable fuel capacity would give us about 650 kilometres of range based on 24 kilometres per litre on a good day. On a bad day, it'd be obviously considerably less than that. The fuel range is really important. Secondly, protecting it against any damages, as most of you guys out there will know, standard stuff, like, a good set of aluminium hand guards, a good strong Rally Raid back plate, amongst all the bits and pieces. Those pivot pegs, A for damage, and the likes. So in terms of all the stuff we did to it, it's a standard Rally Raid Evolution 2 specification kit with the tanks, fairing, subframe, frame mount. What else have we got in terms of the Rally Raid stuff? Rally Raid luggage racks, rear rack, Rally Raid auxiliary fuel tank. I'll show you a picture of that in a moment. The Rally Raid bash plate. In behind here you've got Rally Raid radiator protectors and radiator brace. And I'll come on to that again in a minute in terms of protecting it. KTM GPS rack from Rally Raid, there you get them there these days. Scott's steering damper, and the mount again from Rally Raid. Other stuff got on the bike, pivot pegs, which I love, added on, had these things on everything, worked brilliantly for me personally. Other bits and pieces, we've obviously got the taking out the side stand switch, prevent any issues with that. Got the thermostat modified to kicking earlier in the temperature range, again to protect the engine from overheating. Got the dummy plug in the rear to override the fuel mapping. And a few other bits and pieces we'll come on to during the course of this. So how did we come to this point, to get it to this state? Well, pretty easy really, apart from knowing the basics of it, what we wanted to do with the bike, a lot of research, some really good resources on the internet. Specifically for a guy called the Rolling Hobo, who has adventurized one of these and spent a lot of time often in the Balkans and along the BAM road, and he's tested everything. So really good resource on the internet. Other few resources, 690 South, good guy in South America at the moment, done a lot of work to his bike as well and tested a lot of stuff. And obviously the Horizons Unlimited hub has got a ton of information there as well. So these things are pretty tried and tested in terms of what's good and what's bad and what needs to be protected against. So tons of stuff out there.